Hey, what's up, Yantaraj? You are on with Yan. Welcome back, Yantaraj, episode 11, part 2 with Dr. Emilia Szerenos. And we are just jumping right back into that conversation we started with a few weeks ago, so I hope you enjoy.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the third exam.
So when do you think you're going to take it?
Well, I'm gonna sit down in September and start studying for it, and hopefully max by January, February to take it.
And you have to fly here.
For that one, I have to fly here. Yeah, with this exam, I don't think it's in every state that you can take it. There's a lot of, I have to look it more into it, but yeah.
I've got time. So, this journey of yours.
Yeah.
How many times did you say, oh my God, I want to quit?
Well,
Or how often have you woken up like, I can't do this?
Yeah.
Like, talk about the moments that are not the highlights.
Yeah.
The parts of the whole thing where you're like, man, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. Well, so like the time of getting your MD degree in Europe is, for the most part, 6 years. So for my first 2 years, I felt it was doable, manageable. It wasn't horrible. Of course, you had some, hiccups here and there. Third year was very intense. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the go. And that's where I felt a lot of pressure. But I felt the most when I was studying for these exams to the States. I found myself really second-guessing my abilities of even thinking about pursuing medicine. Mm-hmm. I felt it's a hard process because to put it into perspective, you're taking four-ish years of knowledge and you're trying to review it. You're trying to know ton of details. You're trying to not even understand and memorize things, but to incorporate concepts and being able to have a question written in a case format and being able to pick up the disease, what treatment they could be possibly on, and knowing the chemical reaction or whatever you will to what they're taking. And it's 3 or 4 fold that you have to get into your head trying to answer these questions in, I would say, a minute and a half. And I'm a slow reader. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times I just felt that it was far too much. And during this COVID period of 5 to 6 months of me sitting in my room studying and only coming out to have a dinner, if that.
Just threw food under the door
basically,
for you.
Basically, that's how it was. So I would usually just leave my room to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And food would be dropped off at my door, and a smoothie if I could even eat that, because you're so stressed and you're so focused on doing these questions, but then also reviewing them. Because with every question, there's explanations to it, and you have to review them. And like I said, I'm a slow reader, so it took me forever to do any of that. And sometimes there is no progress.
So
you just don't see it.
If you had to put it into 3 to 4 words, you said you felt like you couldn't do it. What else did you feel? You questioned your ability.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't do it. Questioned my ability. Question just if I can actually remember all these things and pick them up and not make stupid mistakes. And then it also started having me question my strength and durability to withstand this, because also, again, thinking a bit ahead of the game and taking another perspective that, well, this is just me sitting in my room studying for an exam. But if I get into residency, I'm going to have to be on my feet for 12 to 14 hours a day handling live patients.
Yeah.
And having probably one day off if I'm lucky, to process everything that happened and also keep studying, because in medicine you don't stop. You have to keep studying. So it made me really start to question if I'm fit for this career, especially trying to come to the US and get this training, because it's not easy.
That
It's
self-worth.
not easy.
Right.
And so it started making me think that, but then also I was thinking, well, okay, I want that. This isn't as bad as it's going to be. So I have to push through.
Mm-hmm.
No excuses. You have to push through. But I had so many mental breakdowns during that process. It was horrible, but at the end of the day, once you take this exam, pass or fail, doesn't matter. When you walk out of that test center, after those 8 hours that you thought like you couldn't do, because that's also something I didn't think I could focus for that long.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you go in and the time flies by and you don't even think about using the bathroom or eating. Like you have to, I remember I had to force myself to take a break because you just go into this spiral. But once you leave that test center, you think, okay, wow, not everybody can do this, but you did it.
But you did it.
And then when you find out that you passed,
I'm so proud of you.
You're just like, well, no one can touch me, you know? But then, you know, it fades away because you have the next one coming up.
Yeah.
But for that, you know, first week or so, you're thinking, wow, I did it.
Hey, if nobody claps for you, I'm going to clap for you. No, but in all seriousness, like, that's a lot. And that's a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
So aside from walking out of that test room feeling like I did that, I crushed that, how else did you get yourself out of those? I can't do this.
Well, I kept thinking, well, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to postpone it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, well, I already spent the money on these, you know, resources to study for it. And a lot of the times it's online subscriptions that expire. So again, if I don't do it now, I'm going to have to pay for them again.
So I think she's saying your goal has to have a deadline.
Oh,
I think that's what she's saying.
Oh, yes.
I think so.
So once you start it, you really have to be committed, or else you're going to have to pay again and invest
Right.
more time into it and miss out on more things.
And time is the most valuable resource.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get time back. Definitely not.
And here you are.
Yeah.
You made it through all of that. Well, with the third exam, maybe in January, but still, like, you made it through all of that, right? That's amazing. You must be really proud of yourself. How do you feel about yourself now?
Oh, don't ask me this question now. I'm applying for residency in a week. I feel horrible.
It's okay. We could cry together. I've learned that that's a healthy thing to do.
Oh, yeah. No, but yeah, with this whole process, it goes up and down. You know, one minute you feel so confident, the next minute you feel, well, someone out there is probably better than me. But after graduating, that was a prime time that I felt like I accomplished a lot. I finished med school, but on top of that, I managed to do these extra exams and steps that my other peers necessarily didn't have to. I mean, some of them did, and we had a support system, I guess. We all kept each other motivated, but at the end of the day, yeah, it comes down to yourself. And when I got my diploma, I felt like, yeah, okay, I mean, this university helped me, but everything else I did on my own when it came to the US exams.
If you were to give yourself advice when you were like a teenager or just about to start uni or any time frame that you would pick, what would be that age that you would want to tell yourself that advice, and what would be the advice?
Well, I think I would tell myself when I was about maybe 16, 17 or so to not stress as much for the little things, because I found myself at every step of my educational career, let's put it that way, like being at IA, you had to do the IB program, which is also more than what other high schools had to do.
Right.
And I would be stressed out about that and those additional exams to the SATs that we would have to do. And thinking, well, it can't be worse than this. And then you go to university, and your final exam in one subject is basically the cumulative of all of those exams that you took, for the IB.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think that's the end of the world and that's so hard. But then you take your, USMLEs or your final exams in like university, like the last year exams. And then you think, well, that can't be any, that's the worst that it's going to be. But then you'll go into residency and you have to take your, step 3 exam or your boards exam or whatever little exams you have there, or little, I don't know. But there's probably some extra exams I don't know about that are coming, and just thinking, always stressing so much about all of them, which is good, but I stress way too much.
Do you think you can take that advice with you going into the future?
Yeah, I try to tell myself that now, yes, because I think it was only after the second exam for the USMLEs in my last year that I really noticed how stressed I get and how much of a toll it has on my own body of not eating and that stuff. And not intentionally, of course.
Right.
But luckily I had a good support system that would give me food because I would forget,
Yeah.
But just to put in the same amount of effort to care, but, what will be, will be.
Right.
And
That's valid.
yeah, to just stay motivated, but to not try to control everything and worry about the worst case scenario. Because I think that's what I'm getting at, that I would always think I failed or I was horrible, when in fact, if I actually think about it, it was hard, but couldn't have been that bad.
Perspective.
Oh,
wow. That's good. That's really good. So, we didn't talk about this in the beginning. Where, in what aspect, well, let me rephrase that. What kind of doctor?
Pediatric children.
Okay.
100%.
Why? And is there anything more that you want to go into with that?
Okay, so why I find kids just so pure and so inspiring in a way. They're not tarnished by reality, I mean, of course they cry and whatnot, but they're happy with the little things. You can make them smile. You can also, a big thing that I just recently kind of really noticed is that as their doctor, you can talk to them about their future plans and help them navigate that, getting another perspective as what we've talked about, because parents might be set on one goal, and then you as the doctor, you can, if you have a good relationship with them, can say like, yeah, listen to your mom and dad, or hey, did you guys think about this, instead. But so just having the opportunity to help shape the future of tomorrow in a way. And they're just happy. I feel like that's maybe the biggest thing that convinced me to pediatrics is they're happy. Kids are happy. And at first I wasn't sure about it because they can't always express their symptoms or say what's wrong and all this, but the fact that they are so pure that you a lot of the times can just tell if something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
They, you can tell if something's on their mind.
And you're very intuitive, so I think to you it comes much more
Maybe.
Naturally.
Maybe. So just like now I've been doing a rotation here in pediatrics with one of the best doctors, and he has so many patients, so I get to see, if that, like maybe 80 patients a day, and just seeing all these different kids from newborns to teenagers and being able to see that, okay, this kid, there's really nothing wrong with them. They have a cough, their parents are maybe a little bit over, like, I don't want to say exaggerating because they have a reason why they come to the doctors, but maybe they're a bit too scared in this case, whereas really nothing's wrong with them. It's just, it's just a cough in that moment. But then you have a child that doesn't want to talk, is lethargic and sleepy and super warm to the touch, and that's when you know, okay, this kid is sick.
Yeah.
Versus adults, I feel like we can mask it pretty well.
Yeah.
So with kids, I find that very, very interesting. In teenagers, you can tell if they're anxious or if they're feeling sad about something. And depending on your relationship, you address that or not. But we had a case that, yes, actually not a case, but it's more often than you think that teenagers are coming to the doctor's office and they're so anxious. And I don't know if it's from the social media about what they're learning about the world, what's going on or what, but they're just so anxious, and they might just come in for a physical, but you see them moving their feet or their arms, and you have the opportunity to address it where maybe the parents might be too afraid to address it.
Yeah.
So I find that a nice platform where you can help these kids that maybe feel a bit too uncomfortable to say things to their parents, but to a doctor that's kind of a stranger, but also kind of family in a way.
Right.
They might be able to say something and then help guide them into it. And for now, I'm not too certain about if I want to do any specialization or anything in the future.
Okay.
Maybe something, I was thinking about behavioral, developmental, like pediatrics, or if it's possible to do something with psych, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's all in the air still.
To the point that you said, you get to help them and you get to address certain things that maybe parents are not equipped to address, or maybe they're just not sure, or they don't recognize the signs, because like for you see lots of patients all the time. For parents, they have one child that they see all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that stuff becomes, that's just what they're like.
It goes in both extremes.
Yeah. So, but I feel like we get to see that at the dojo often as well.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool thing to be a part of, because like you said, you get to be a positive impact.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully make somebody else's day or life better.
Exactly. And with pediatrics, you really feel a sense of purpose and this positive, impact that you said. You just feel like what you're doing is good, versus with a lot of things coming in with internal medicine, so older people. And of course, this is just my opinion, but I feel it's very hard to get that same feeling from those patients.
Yeah.
Because I, just knowing myself, if I was a patient, I'd, either try to hide my feelings, or I maybe wouldn't, admit to something that I'm, dealing with or sick or something. And if someone's, you don't really want to make jokes with your doctor, I guess, not on the same level as a pediatrician. So
kids haven't had time to build up that wall.
Exactly. That's I guess that fits better, because yes, like some adults, of course, you go in, you crack a joke here and there, but some adults are just not having it that day.
They're not about it.
They just want you to come in, check if they're okay, and leave. Or, if you address something like their addictions to whatever it is, nicotine or alcohol, and, you can tell them, it's not really the best for you, but are they going to change it? It's really hard. I
just remembered that video that you were watching, the study videos a few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed watching with you. But I just remember it saying, the patient is the problem. And I know that sounds really harsh, but just to what you said, is you can advise somebody till you're blue in the face about, listen, what you're doing isn't healthy for you. Not for me, but for you.
Exactly.
But will they listen?
Yeah. No. Like, from what
more no than yes.
From what I've experienced, exactly. People forget that our advice is not for us. It's for you, and if you do it or not,
my advice is not. Wait, how'd you say it? My advice is not for me. It's for you.
Yeah. And then if you come in again with the same complaints, I just don't like not having progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
But truthfully, like, we are our own patients and problems.
Oh, yeah.
Because we stand in our own way all the time. Just like you said, you have a patient come in with the same exact thing, same exact complaint. and you gave them the solution, and they were like, okay, I'll see you in 3 months with the same problem, you know?
Literally. And, they just want the medication that will help. But with a lot of these things, it's just treating it, but it's bound to rebound, or it's not curable. And in pediatrics, at least, addiction, that's a really hard thing.
Yeah.
And luckily in pediatrics, you don't have that, but also just that progress of, if you explain to the parents, listen, your child is with this or going through this, here are the steps that we need to take, like both your side and my side, to help them. It's their child, of course they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not every parent's gonna listen.
No.
But they'll do, they might not listen exactly to your steps, but they'll take their own maybe way of it, but they're gonna do it. It's their child. So at least like in pediatrics, I find it very, what's the word?
Rewarding, maybe?
Yeah, rewarding, that at the end of the day, everybody wants
the best
for this child and to help them to get through it.
Yeah.
Versus if it's us as the patient, like, we're adults. We can choose. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It just reminds me of how, we do more for somebody else than we do for ourselves sometimes.
Oh yeah, just like I showed you what I went shopping for today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's important to do stuff for yourself too.
Yeah, and we get lost in that.
So to finish this up, I just wanted to touch a little bit on how your parents played a role in your success. And I do have to mention that we are sitting on some chairs that Tata said he made when he came here from scratch, all by himself. These are original, handmade by him. And I just wanted to make sure I said that, because
I didn't know that.
because I told him I would. And so here we are on these chairs that have been here forever,
for
like
our entire lives.
Yeah.
They were in the basement. We were chilling on these. We were jumping off of these back then.
Oh my god.
Like, Yana and I grew up in my basement.
Yeah.
If I didn't make that clear in the beginning, I met her in my basement, and we basically never left that place.
That sounds so crazy. Yeah, but these chairs are really blood, sweat, and tears of an immigrant. They're hard work, and they're a staple in this household. Now, please, walk us through how your parents have contributed to your success.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like you said, our foreign upbringing of our parents, maybe not necessarily. Okay, so let's put it this way: our parents came from the other side of the Iron Curtain, where you didn't have basically anything. You had to work for it. Nothing came easy. But, luckily our parents, had everything that they needed. Maybe not in excess, but they did. And so I feel like their upbringing really influenced mine and my sister's upbringing, because it was always, okay, so you did this. Next time I want more.
Mm-hmm.
You got an A in your math test. Okay, next time I want an A+.
Yeah.
And maybe they weren't saying it in a very harsh way, but it was implied.
Oh yeah, I understand.
With anything you do, next time better be more. And so I feel that I have that ingrained in my brain.
You do.
That, like, with university. Okay, so I'm gonna get through university, but I need to take these exams. I need to do more. So that was definitely a driving force into why I even started this. Actually, if I think about it, it was really my parents that pushed me into medicine.
Yeah.
Because I originally wanted to go into cosmetology. And I always liked helping people, and I thought about cosmetology because it was at the time very hip. But my mom was saying, well, okay, I know you're a smart girl, and there's nothing wrong with cosmetology, but I think you can do more. What about becoming a dermatologist with a cosmetology clinic or something? And I thought, well, why not? I was thinking about medicine before, then I, thought about cosmetology, and so she kind of helped me connect these two things to do more, to not just settle for that. So that definitely played a big role, and then of course financially.
Well, yeah.
Financially, that's even, without even saying it's obvious.
Yeah.
So especially in medicine, you devote yourself to so much studying. It's very hard to find a place to work and not burn out.
Yeah.
And then, we can't really work in our profession until we're in residency, because it's such a I'm lacking so many words today. I'm thinking of them all in Polish.
You can say them in Polish.
It's such a responsibility that we have when we have to treat patients in our profession, that no one will hire us to anything close until we have everything set and done.
So, do more. They really ingrained that in you.
Oh, yeah. And
consistently.
And, sitting, of course, enjoy your time and relax from time to time, but don't relax for too long.
But that's
always
important.
Find the next project.
But that part's important, because I feel like people now relax way more than they should. And all they care about is relax time versus project time, or what I need to get done time. And it's like life is centered about the next party, the next gathering, and it's, what are you celebrating all the time?
And I found myself thinking that this Easter, or Easter time, I wanted to go on a vacation, and I thought, well, did I deserve it?
Mm-hmm.
Should I go, or should I stay? Like, I didn't feel like I deserved to go on another trip, but then also sitting back at home, I could study, but it wasn't at the time like a priority. I didn't have to. But I found myself thinking, okay, did I deserve that? Should I go? But there's nothing else besides just sitting at home that would have.
But the fact that you had
an option,
But the fact that you had that thought, though, is very uncommon. I feel like, because I feel like people feel entitled to the vacation, the whatever relaxed time might look like for them. And sure, like, you should relax in life and you should enjoy life.
Oh, yeah.
But I almost feel like it's too flip-flop. Like, I feel like people care too much about having fun, partying, going out. And it's like, again, like I said again, like, what are you celebrating? What did you accomplish that you're celebrating?
Yeah.
I guess that's just my perspective on that. And like you said, maybe I should shift my perspective, because
But a lot of that is definitely from the social media that you see, because these people went here, those people went there, they went to this party, they went to that party, and you feel that you're missing out if you're not also contributing to showing that. And I don't see it in that way, because I stopped posting. I felt whoever really wants to know what's going on in my life can call me.
WhatsApp me.
Email me.
Email me.
But
Yahoo email.
But yes, that's definitely ingrained in both of our heads of, in order to enjoy, you have to deserve it.
Yeah.
You should work for it. And even with such mundane tasks that I have, if I can't start my day watching a series just to ease into the day, I have to deserve
you have to earn it.
I have to earn it.
Yes. Yes. On a day-to-day basis. Yes, I agree. I start my day with a workout. I don't start my day with, although, sometimes I take longer to work out than other days. But for the most part, like, I don't start my day by like, oh, let me just turn on Netflix and, just figure out what I want to do and relax till I have to go to the dojo, Like, I've never viewed my days like that either, so.
Yeah, or now, when I started my rotation here, I flew into the States specifically for this this clinical experience, and I love the food in the States. Your Chipotle, your Buffalo Wild Wings, all these things that you don't have, and I probably shouldn't be eating, I miss. But I can't just go and buy it.
Right.
I have to earn it.
Yep.
So after my first week at this rotation, I was like, okay, I did okay. I can have Chipotle on Friday.
Yes. I love it. I love that. This is why you're my best friend. Like, this is why. But yeah, I feel the same. I buy this, like, cookie for Ryan and I. There's this one specific chocolate chip cookie that I like to have at night. And I don't ever let myself have it during the day until it's, like, nighttime and I'm having my cup of tea at night before bed. If I crush the day, which I do, I have my cookie. But I never let myself have it at lunch. It tastes
better.
Or it does. It does. And, like, there's definitely times where, like, I'd rather have it at lunch. I'm like, I want this right now. But I'm like, no.
No, you have to wait.
Go to the dojo and earn it.
Yep.
And have that cookie afterwards. That's so funny.
And a lot of, like, from what I sometimes see on Instagram, people try to twist this into it being PTSD from your childhood. Which it could be. It could be. But I feel like it keeps us constantly moving and progressing and trying to do more and not stagnating, which I feel it's so easy nowadays when everything is so handed to you. Like, okay, maybe not handed to you, but accessible.
It's so accessible. I mean, just even look at Amazon. I know that particularly isn't what we're talking about, but everything's accessible. You want something, that place can deliver it to you by like 7 p.m.
Yeah, the same day. I don't know how they do that. I really don't know how they do that.
Do I need it that bad?
How do they have all these things? In like a vicinity,
I don't pretend to know. I have no idea.
To guarantee you same day delivery. I don't get it. They have so many things.
I like how you've approached that. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about mom and dad and before we finish up our episode here?
Well, yeah, so I said financially they definitely supported me 100%, but also like that's also I never tried to ask for more than needed, because I just felt like I had to deserve it if I wanted something more from mom and dad. And then that they helped put me on the right track, I guess.
Yeah.
And just being supportive with these exams that I wanted to take. Of course, I felt that they maybe on some level expected me to do it, given, them still living in the States and my sister moving and all that stuff, that it was, Poland was just temporary. So I felt that they expected it, but I think they also saw how much of a toll it took on me, just questioning everything again, but then saying, well, you've made it this far, you're gonna do it. Like, there's no other option. So.
Well, they believed in you.
Yeah.
And even though, like, maybe you didn't feel it at times, I don't think they would have pushed you in the way that they did if they didn't think so.
Like, I just had a memory now, because I tend to try to block these things.
That's very healthy.
Yeah, mental health and all that. I try to block these traumatizing events from my brain. But yeah, like, I remember they do it in their own way. Yeah. It's tough love with them for sure, of just constantly pushing us. And I remember I took a practice test one of the days that my dad was at which also, again, shout out to him. He specifically flew out to Poland to drive me to these exams. Ooh. Because there is no testing center in Poland, so we had to drive all the way to Prague. So that was like 14-hour drive. So he specifically drove so I wouldn't have to stress of the trains and whatnot. Yeah, but I remember I took a practice test and I was so devastated with my score. It was better than my last practice test, but it was only better by like 3 or 5 points. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was the end of the world. I thought I studied for 2 full weeks, like after the first practice test. I thought my score would jump up by at least, 10, 15, something. Mm-hmm. And it jumped up by like 3. And I thought, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm doing everything exactly how I have been, guided, instructed. Mm-hmm. And I was devastated. I was crying. And my dad I remember walking by my room and just hearing me and saying, "What are you doing? Like, this is not going to help you. Like, you you made progress. 3 points is progress. It could have been 3 points back. It's 3 points forward. Crying is not going to help you. Get over this.
Yeah,
Like, it was he said it like, yeah, okay, you've processed this. You took the test. You found out the score like an hour or two ago. Like, that's enough time. Like, now think about the plan for the next week. Think about what you can do to make the score better. Look at the questions. See what you did wrong. Don't just be sitting here still and just crying. And I thought, and then that made me more cry.
that made me more cry.
Or cry more is the proper English way of saying it. But yeah, and then I thought, like, well, okay, yeah, he's right. Like, I have a deadline. I can't just be sitting here and crying.
I don't have time for this.
So, you just kind of get it in, and then, yeah, you just continue.
I feel that his approach to that is a very European approach, because I've found that my dad also handles things that way. But it's a very good point.
Yeah.
Because why are you gonna like you can cry about it, but is that improving your score for the next time? No. So
and yeah, he also is trying to make a point of, yeah, this is hard, let it out, but don't let it stop you, because at the end of the day, you're going to remember the progress, you're going to remember the good things of it. You're not necessarily going to be thinking about all these bad things, which, like, I almost forgot about all this.
Yeah.
Until I opened this door again.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you have to push yourself to create those positive, impactful moments in your life and not be stuck with the bad stuff. But also, therapy is important and processing things. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that way that Dad handled you, I think, is something that you can take with you for forever. And just, like, re-listen to that advice. Because I'm going to take Dad's advice, too. But you know what I mean? Like, that it's repeatable for every situation that you might find yourself in, where you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, and if
always forward.
To get coddled in that moment, I would have just been processing it more and more and more, and then maybe, I wouldn't have given up, but I would have just been stagnated maybe in those thoughts.
Right.
But because also at the time I was living right with, like, my sister and Cuba, and they were super positive and they helped a lot, but they weren't maybe necessarily so harsh with me. So I would take their advice, and it would be nice to hear, but it maybe wasn't necessarily the truth that I needed to hear.
But that's it right there, is like, if you have everyone surrounded by you that is always giving you, like, soft and coddled advice and not the dad advice, you wouldn't be where you are.
No.
So you need that. And the fact that you have that perspective shift, like, maybe in that moment it didn't feel so nice, but it was more pertinent and it was more relevant, and it helped you way more than you probably thought it did.
Yeah. And then, then after I passed everything, he was one of the happiest people also.
I love that.
But also, let's say 2 days passed by, and he's like, so when are you taking the second one?
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
But you need that in your life too.
Exactly. So pushing me, I knew I wanted to take it before graduation, 100%. But there were also different distractions, and having my parents, who are the main financial support of mine, and then asking, so when is the second one? When are you going to start the second one? Or have you started the second one? I was thinking, okay, well, I am going to do this, and I can't abuse their generosity in a way. Right. So let's get this done.
Let's go.
Exactly. So.
Need a 10, got a 10, let's go. Well, Emmy, I just want to thank you so much for being on this episode with me. It means so much to me that I got to have my best friend on this podcast.
Such a privilege that you even asked me to be here.
You've earned it. I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking. No, but really, thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for being such a great friend. Like you,
right back at you.
oh, stop. But really, like you really helped me see a lot of different perspectives, and the fact that you're so in touch with a lot of your emotions really helps me see a different side of other people too. And that's really valuable to me. So again, thank you for being here, and thank you for being my best friend. And Yantaraj, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to our episode. I hope you learned something. I know I did. Emmy, any last words?
Don't let anything stop you from your goals. Keep those benchmarks. Keep reaching those goals, even if they're small ones before the main one, but just keep pushing, and don't think you can't do it, because, you know, if I could do this, and I'm not the smartest cookie, I guess, in the box, anybody can do anything.
I'm looking at her like, stop lying right now. Well, you heard it here first. Peace out, Yantaraj.